Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let me show you how you can make your Mac look different than everyone else's. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 1,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now your Mac may look something like this. And that's using a lot of the default settings, and a lot of people's Macs look like that. But if you want to change or just want your Mac to look very different than anybody else's that you see, you can always have it look something like this just by switching a few settings. So let's start off with the desktop background. The wallpaper here is one of the standard wallpapers, or you could be using one of the new aerial wallpapers that Apple has. But if you want something that's truly customized and it's your own, you can set it to anything you want. Just go to System Settings and then look for Wallpaper. Now, instead of dealing with any of the controls here, you can just drag and drop an image into this box at the top. So I have here in the Finder an image. This is just something I downloaded from NASA's images, but you could download anything from any stock photography site or use one of your own photos. Just drag that in here and now you have a desktop background that looks very different and it's kind of your own. So next in System Settings, let's change a little bit about how the colors in the windows look. So we're going to go to Appearance here and you've got the accent color and highlight color. So now it's set to multicolor, so apps get to choose their own thing. Like notice here how the Notes app has yellow as its primary color there. But we could change it and say we want purple for everything, or pink, or red, or orange. So you can make it something very different. Choose your favorite color here. Then you can also choose a highlight color that's different than that color. So you can choose a highlight color, say that's purple or blue instead of that. So that's when you highlight text. Notice you can also choose it to match the accent color or choose other to choose any color you want for the highlight color. Now if you don't like how the Windows tint for the background, you can turn that off here. But a more drastic setting that really will change the look of things is found in Accessibility. If you go there and then to Display, then look for the Increase Contrast setting. Turn that on. And that you can see is going to force on reduced transparency and give your Mac kind of a retro look where everything is outlined with dark lines around all the controls. And then of course to top this off you can go back into Appearance here and switch into dark mode. So this is really going to change how things look. And I like how now you have white lines outlining everything. Now so far everything's in the same place but it looks a little different. Now if you really want to change how things work on the screen, a good way to do that is to switch into Stage Manager. So with Stage Manager, instead of having all these overlapping windows or using multiple spaces to have all of your windows and maybe some full screen apps as well, you can simply go into Control Center here, turn on Stage Manager, and now you're just going to be in kind of single app mode. You can combine windows and apps over here, but to start with you've just got say Notes by itself, Calendar by itself, Reminders by itself, the Finder by itself. Plus you get these live view windows over here showing you what's there. It's different than putting things in the dock because you actually see what the window contains. And I've got a tutorial on how to use Stage Manager. There's a lot more to it than just that, but it definitely does change how things look. Now notice the dock here at the bottom. It has a nice solid color behind it now because of the increased contrast mode, and it's got a black background because I'm using dark mode. You can also move that to the left or right. Now when you're using Stage Manager, the Stage Manager app sets are always on the left except in one case, and that's when the dock is put on the left. Then Stage Manager moves to the right, which will make your Mac even different than other people that are also using Stage Manager. So to get to that setting, go into Settings here, then go to the Desktop and Dock section here. Then at the top under Dock, Position on Screen and position the dock to the left. So now you can see the dock on the left and Stage Manager goes to the right. When here you can also have it automatically hidden or shown all the time. When it's on all the time, it's this nice little control panel to basically give you access to all of your apps but also files and folders that you put at the right side or in this case bottom of the dock. Now let's add some widgets to the desktop. I'm going to click here on the desktop background and by default Stage Manager now kind of clears everything away. I'm going to right click or two finger click on the desktop and go to Edit Widgets. And now I can add some widgets. So I can put some widgets here along the top and put whatever I want that seems to make sense for my use of the Mac. And now I've got a nice little set of controls here. And of course you could fill the whole desktop if you like. Or perhaps maybe since I don't have a dock at the bottom of the screen, it might make sense for me to move all of these down to the bottom. And finally, let's change the pointer. So that also looks a little different. Let's go into settings here. And this is going to be under accessibility. And then you're going to go to vision, display, and there's going to be pointer here. I can make the pointer larger. I probably don't want to make it too large, but let's make it just a little bit larger than it normally is to be unusual. And I could change the color of the pointer. Make it something like, say, an orange to match the highlight color. And maybe the outline color, make that, say, a gray like this if I want, or maybe a black. So now even the pointer looks different than everybody else's. So you can see here that without actually changing any functionality of the Mac, this is all cosmetic appearance really. I've got something that looks very different than other people's Macs. Now you may not want to use all of these suggestions and go all the way to this extreme, but maybe a few of these are things you can use or occasionally switch into them when you feel like you want work in a slightly different environment. So I hope this gives you some ideas. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.